just a brief of yesterday's work. So, the ABN ends with Prince Charles. He owns every ABN across the world.
Mm-hmm.
He got that deal with Prince Charles. There's a video of it, and that was what got put through a grand jury and accepted that he was in treason to his country. Right, so we've got that. Okay, so we're now looking at a recall to the country. It's clearly we've got our Queen and our Prince and our heirs and successors in treason. Okay, guys. So we have no hierarchy and system over us, therefore we used the opportunity and we took our land back under for the tribes, for our tribal law.
What's that, the other H thing?
It's heirs and successors.
Oh, heirs and
What it is, guys, we used their stupidness and criminality to our benefit.
Yeah.
As you now know, this is where we come back under the sheriff and the crownal instruments, because we seize them back as ours, and under one of them is the Act, which is the Sheriff Act 1887, which is still our crownal instrument from all the good kings and queens that sat on our throne. So they're in treason, okay?
What's the H and S? What was that?
Heirs and successors.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right, now we've got to reclaim our country back and save it. But what we've got is massive losses of jobs through the carnage.
Yep.
They thought they were smart. They thought they could wipe us up.
Okay.
They thought they could separate us up. They thought they could inject our people, treat us like we're stupid. They thought they can genocide us. We're stupid. So what's happened is we've created the foundation, which New Zealand's doing, to fund all of what we call the first response unit, which is the first responders, which will be coming through New Zealand. You've got your own plan, stick to it, develop your own plan, that's your business.
Yeah.
What we've got is in the overall framework is you guys with us and aligned with us. No one can ever tell you what to do in your country's soil, and no one can tell us what to do on our country's soil, but together we're using this framework to make sure those sheriffs operate the countries in law and peace, so that no one ever owns anyone else, and no one ever steps over any individual.
Yeah.
No one person on this land will ever hold that power in one hand, which is what the Queen has done, the Pope thinks he's done. And these common lawyers they create a hierarchical system. Sorry, it's not on Charlie, not on this soil. That's why we're under natural law. They call it common law. Natural law is actually a concept of law, and it's in the Bible.
Courts and judicial
It's the
systems
Bible.
and
As Ricky has said, it's the 10 Commandments. We're back under the Bible, and the law of the land is always there. That's the law. So with the nurses, doctors, ambos, fireys, they are first responders. Now we've got a lot of ramping and people dying in ambulances and stuff like that, 8 hours at a hospital and all that. It's because they got rid of all the unvaccinated people to create chaos within our emergency service. Well, guess what? It's not staying. The sheriffs will come in. They will actually take them, and we will develop up community hubs. We need our builders. They're trying to shut down the ABN builders, the little ones. They only want the big companies they run, and I'll show you the strategy after with that. And this is what they want. So I've created the 50 cents funnel web. If you look at a spider, how they build their house, strong, and yet it's only a little piece of silk. You have a look at that, the 50-cent piece, 8 sides, put a person in each unit. They own their own little unit, they buy it, and when they die, they get to have it. The money come back. They never lose their money. And it's not a thing for profit. That gets sold out again, so you're not creating inflation and higher real estate. They pay $80,000 for that. They get their $80,000 back, because the next person only paying $80,000. They pay $80,000, and you've got 7 of them there. There's $560,000 for each hub. But each person is paying for their hub that they're going to get their money back. But the community's now got a resource. And in the middle is going to be a nurse station with one of these doctors and one of these nurses in it in every community. Whether you have 10 down a community, so what? Those buildings never go away, and you've got yourself an emergency system 2 to 5 kilometres down the road. So if someone gets sick in that area, they go there. If they need to go to a hospital for critical huts and stuff like that, they go off to the major hospital, which is not overrun then. So you've got to bring it back to that. Also too, they're working in the community, less travel. You can't think that a call out from Melbourne would happen 50 minutes out and it's a heart attack. Come on, you lose your life in 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What the hell were they thinking when they did this?
Yeah, that's it.
So we can now bring these down under the sheriffs, and also too, the sheriffs actually in their community are the head person in the community. They come to the meeting, every county sheriff comes to the meeting and represents their people. They form what used to be the House of Representatives. They know their community. What you've got up here is then the Council of Commons, which is the Senate. Council of Commons, that's the Senate, guys. You know what Council of Commons means? Parliament. You've got every sheriff in every county down here who comes up with all the concerns out of the community. They're called the House of Representatives. For every state. You've got yourself a whole state system, and then you've got your Senate, and then you've got your Council of Commons, which technically is the senators. Now that's my offer under the law, what we can pass forward with Darren this afternoon. It's all we can do, and it's coming back to these people being serviced in the community like that for the health and all the emergency services. So you have a doctor in there and a nurse in there. You've got a doctor straight away and you've got a nurse straight away. I'm talking about an emergency doctor and an emergency nurse. I'm not talking about your general practitioner.
Yeah.
They can go off in their practices. I'm talking about one here for the community.
Anyway, the doctors for the ones. Oh no. Okay, sorry.
No, you're right. You're right.
No, I was just thinking. That nurse and doctor there will actually become those people's GP.
In that unit,
In that
yes.
unit.
And also too, in the back of the room is an emergency door. Then of course they've got their privacy. They just flick in there, turn Mary's light off if she goes to sleep, checks on her. They've got a little doorway for their visits to come in and their little puppy dog to go out and do poo-poos. But they've got this whole section in the middle where that access point comes to help the vulnerable through a back door. Of course, it's with permission of the residents in there.
Yeah.
But they live in there, never having to worry about rent. Old people shouldn't have to worry about rent.
Yeah.
And also, please understand, we've got the Sedicate Trust that the sheriffs are looking at. So if we can access a person's
The
Sedicate
sheriff
Trust.
look after it.
Yeah, we're going to do the whole we will take.
We'll
we
have
will
to
be,
take that.
No,
one
what
when it
happens is
comes.
we created. No, actually, Kerry and I are creating a trust document. You cannot even touch a trust document until you actually consent, contract and consent, and we have then a fiduciary responsibility. If there's anything wrong or that money is used wrong, as a head sheriff of New Zealand, head sheriff of Australia, we go to jail.
So is it one person saying, just say someone comes up to me and say, I need a house. Is it up to me or is it a body of people?
No,
To agree
what it is, you are a sheriff.
You're a
You're a
sheriff, you
county
can
sheriff.
just
You
do it.
have
It
the
shouldn't be
power.
left for one person.
No.
It's too much power for one person.
No,
Yes.
actually no, but you will not be a county sheriff unless you are, you will
Voted in by
not,
the
you are
people.
voted in by your community. So you've voted in already. But what it is then you come to Kerry and I, you lodge that to the office. We know you've signed off on it, but also too, we know our good sheriffs, and also any that's a bit shady, we're going to
It's not,
double
it's
check.
not foolproof a few years down the track how you get good people, and you might get one bad.
That's right, yeah.
And the other ones are going to wreck
Yeah.
the system.
Yeah,
So if you
it
rely on
is.
it,
The
rely on that.
community's not going to let you do that. That community is watching you
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
hawk. But also too, if you've got a flood like the floods we've just had, we've got to have a system where you see to their need. Now also to a trust is a need. It's got to be a thing for need, which is clearly the floods we've had, the bushfires we've had. You know, some of these people that now get $1,000 with the floods, they're sitting on a Sedicate trust of $200,000. Sorry, 200.
Joke.
Thousand and one is for an 80-year-old's $280 million that the Pope's been trading us at $216,000 a day if you're a 7-pound baby born and they trade your birth certificate as a bundle under fidelity.com. I think I wrote it here yesterday. Yeah, fidelity.com. You can go onto the website and check, but because they package them up, you can't get your own off Fidelity. So it's a whole system. As I said, Kerry and I have been unpacking this for 6 months.
Yeah.
But also too, it's a trust deed and a trust document. The trustees actually own it here in Australia. They know all this. Your money's sitting in Treasury in Australia, but the Bank of England funded. So you've got $1 million. Are we all born after 1923? Yes.
Yep.
What?
I bloody hope so. So I'm an older thing.
This life.
Checking, just checking. We're all born after 1923, so we get $1 million put aside, and that gets traded on the overnight stock
$1 million
exchange.
of what? $1 million of what?
It was borrowed. $1 million was
It's
borrowed
borrowed.
on you when you were born.
Okay.
So what they did is they traded on the stock exchange, but also too, your birth weight is 7 pounds. This is the Catholic. There's 6 different types of Sedicate trusts.
You'll be worth more.
There's more. Yeah, there's more. So you were traded as flesh.
Yes, that's
This
right.
is flesh trade.
Yep.
End of story. Trading of the flesh without consent of the mother.
That's right.
So it's a crime, and anything to do with deceit is fraud
Trafficking,
under the
isn't it?
Crimes Act.
Well, you-
So we've got them for fraud under the Crimes Act. So you've got a 7-pound baby, 16 ounces to a pound, times the 7, 42. So you've got 16 ounces a pound, 14.
Don't ask me.
16, yep, you'll be right.
Thanks.
Make it easy.
We confirmed that yesterday.
We did. So
Round
you've
it down
got
to 20.
16 ounces a pound. What's the price of gold?
US,
112.
Australian, 1,000.
Let's say $2,000 a
Yep.
pound.
Yep.
Hello, do you realise last night the stock exchange, $224,000 is what you earned the country last night, and you earned the country last night, yet they give us $40 back,
Yeah.
called unemployment.
How much back?
Anyone unemployed gets $40 a day. But we just earned the country yesterday, that,
Treasury, yeah.
Okay.
224,000. That's what came in. Every unemployed person living on the street got $224,000 to the Treasury because they're trading you on the stock exchange.
You know, you need a committee just for that.
No, this is all done. No, it's all done. Yeah, done.
Yeah.
It's over and done with. They're finished. Because you know why?
So everyone's going to get a check for that.
No, they are not. What it is, and I want to explain to you how the
Needs
country runs
basis.
on the money, and I will wipe this clean and then absolutely give you a full explanation.
Cool.
That's only from one trust. But remember, they package you up in trust. So what you've got is $224,000, and we're sitting here doing only from your birth certificate. That does not include the trading of $1 million. If anyone wants to do their maths, please add that in there. What's $1 million on the stock exchange overnight? Take it at 5%, say, even at today's rate, 3% interest.
They make a whole lot of corporations.
Per annum.
under your number.
No, yeah,
Or
overnight.
it is, look
Yeah.
at your
Yeah.
marriage
So
certificate.
divide by 365. So all you have to do, Charles, is $1 million at 3%. And divide by 365, and you've got yourself a whole nother figure coming here. Sedicate trust number 2. There's 6 Sedicate trusts that we've located.
So I don't want to keep interrupting that.
Yeah, no,
But I'm
please
just
do.
worried about, once people know about this trust, they'll be breaking my balls and
No, they won't. No, they won't.
They want their money, they want their money.
They would have done it already.
They
I'm just
actually-
picturing all the people,
They
my
won't.
funds come,
As you said, it got
You
leaked to
don't
a
need
few
to worry,
people.
because
Was that you who
there
were
was-
saying
No,
that?
it's not even that. We're all sensible
Big
on this
steps.
soil.
They have to make sales. They have to have all those other things before anyone
So they do
can
that, so they've got to do it to someone. Who do they
No.
get all that information from?
Well, it won't be given to them straight away because you need to
Yeah, you dig for
empower
it.
them
Can
to
I
stand
pull you
on
up?
their own
Can I
two
actually
feet.
pull you up?
Yeah.
Say it once.
Excuse my ignorance.
Actually,
Yeah,
no,
it's all right.
please, no,
I
no.
wanna know.
Actually, no, please. Also, to say it once, say it right is my motto. Get the facts out, get it out once and right and clear. What's happening is now a heap of speculation and fear. So we've done, let's clear this off and I'll show you how that works. And also too, this is open for conversation debate. Okay, we've done, I'll just go into Chase Manhattan Bank, foreign investment, 1986, that's why I'm not a mortgage broker anymore. I wouldn't do it. I would not sell my country out,
Good on you.
right? That's why I've lived on Centrelink, and apparently the taxpayer have been paying me when I had my children. I got $280 a fortnight, but I also got $280 off a job, working real estate, all week, weekends, $280. So technically they've been slaving me within the workforce, and it was never enough to feed my children and stuff, so I had an offset. That offset was my Sedicate trust. They made me feel guilty that I wasn't rearing my own children, but I was. And that really bothers me. So now we've done the aged care home. We've talked about the nurses, bringing them back on the shifts. We talked about the new birthing system and getting the nurses across yesterday, and I'll do a whole program with Sandy. This is the building industry. We'll go building these hubs. But also too, when it comes to the homes, the money comes from a Sedicate trust, as it always has. But the banks don't get the second bite. That's criminality. Right? So you've all got, the UCC1, I've just wiped that off. The UCC1 controls all manner of how money is exchanged. So there is a set of guidelines, and it is there, and it's to stop money fraud, which is exactly now what we're getting into, and this is where New Zealand's got to do it right, because if there's anything fraudulent, you're against the Crown lynchment, go to jail. Right? End of story. Laws applies to everyone. Fidelity.com, don't even worry about it, you can't even read it. But these are the pathways that has been explored to bring all these facts to you guys.
Yeah.
And you don't need to spend 2 years, 20 hours a day to do it. I'm giving it to you in a simple format. Now, what Nat just said is the biggest worry out. You've got Bill Turner in New Zealand. Bill won't tell anyone how to get the money. But guess what? It's not Bill's to call. What you've got is we've got the state treasury. We've got, what state are we? Washington DC. That's Australia. And that's Washington DC, right? In America. We've got Rome, right? We've got all the gold under Rome. And according to Urukai last night, we've got the Black Pope in Rome, in Melbourne. In Melbourne itself.
Wow.
Now, Urukai's done his homework.
What's that, Black Pope?
The
So-
Black Pope.
Yes, the Black Pope lives in Melbourne, apparently,
Yeah.
according to Urukai's research. So I'm always saying, now according to Bill Turner's research, we've got a lot of hoops and ropes to jump through. He is correct to do it in his method, because he's still got to do these because it's sitting in Washington DC, and he's got to bring it through his treasury to bring back to the person, right? So he's got to jump through all these hoops. However, remember what I said to you, anything to do with deceit is fraud. Fraud comes under the Crimes Act 1914. They are now charged with fraud through Kevin, which we needed, through the international courts. So that's why we needed Kevin Arnett in Canada, and that's why I needed natural law, which is us, acknowledged on those international documents of their courts. We now have the approval as sheriffs now, as natural law sheriffs, to go out and arrest, because they're under crime. What I've done under my system is said, this and that's it, is all I care about. New Zealand, Tasmania, and all the little islands thereof. This is the Pacific Island Alliance, right?
Yeah.
Every person in here, what's the population of Australia?
20-something million.
Yeah, 26 of them.
26 million? Oh, it's more than that.
Is it?
I think we are
26.
5.
About
Is that
26.
all? 27?
seven in
Yeah,
Victoria.
okay, might be 27 million in Victoria's.
No,
No,
seven.
About 7 million.
7
Seven.
million, okay. So let's say,
So it's-
let's leave it at that.
yeah. whatever it is.
So you've got that. Now, all the
20,
stages.
25.69.
Yeah, so let's go 26. Thanks, guys. So you've got all these years. Now, up to year 7, 5, 6, so it's year 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Up to year 7, do you realise we were allowed to collect that, even under the Pope's rules? We weren't told. Deceit number 1.
Up to the age of 18.
No, there's more in between.
Oh yes, 7, 14 and
Thanks, yeah.
18.
7, 8,
You get the key to the door at 21.
12, 13,
It's
14.
for your Sedicate Trust.
Yeah, I connected the
Who
key to the
knew?
door. So, we could have got it there. Was the parent told? No. You could have made the decision for your child to have their money there. No. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Do you realise that whole trust stopped there? You were supposed to get it at 21. The young man goes out, he takes a wife, and they go out and make lovely little babies, right? And they have a beautiful family with a lovely home. It's called need. This equals needs. Right, so what's created by a need is then you have, I find it hard to explain sometimes. You've got a need, to create a need and to manage the trust of the Sedicate Trust, you can only give money to someone for a need. They need to have it. Otherwise, if someone gives you dollars irresponsibly, the fiduciary, the trust manager, executor, is in breach of their fiduciary duty. And it's a crime.
And the need is like food, housing, health, clothing.
That's a crime.
A house?
Yeah,
Someone
house
wants
is
a
a
house?
That's why it was
Housing.
21. He was supposed to go out and get his lovely wife and have a house, right? He was supposed to go out and have his lovely wife, create a family and move forward. He was never given his trust at 21. What happened was the government said, whoa, and the Pope said, whoa, over here, let's keep stacking it.
Let's not tell anyone.
So let's keep stacking it.
Bastards.
It's
Yeah,
true.
let's keep stacking
None
it.
of us have
But guess what? It
heard
gets
before.
worse. COVID says, oh, let's kill them off.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where we're going to move into 1945. They were going to bring out COVID.
So, okay, so everyone gets to buy a house and whatever.
Should have done
People
this.
who've got 1 or 2 houses will be no more rental.
That's
So they're
not
gonna
a
lose
need.
all
That's
It's
no, but
not
so
a
what?
need.
We should never have rental.
Did you work this out when you were doing the mortgage broking, or
No.
sometime, or only recently, or?
It's
when-
been a 30 year
30 years, mate.
Yeah.
30 years.
So this is where my brain's put it. Yeah, this is our framework. This is our strength for those sheriffs.
Yeah.
No one can touch us
No one can touch
because
it.
of our knowledge that we've got in this group.
No, I'm just interested in how,
And it's good.
in when that,
Yes,
how you
yes,
work
No,
together.
geez, I live, eat, breathe and dream this.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I've
Good
been
on you.
scared that I talk in my sleep out there.
You were.
Because I wouldn't have known anything like this.
I was writing it down. I was writing all the
But
notes
this is
down.
why-
Someone said something about the Sedicate Trust, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's interesting.
No,
You even
but
sent
also
me the
to
link.
Charles, you
So
don't
put your idea in.
reinvent the education. If someone's gone out and done it like Wayne Glue or the Constitution, I don't step into it. Don't step into it.
Yeah, reinvent
Do
the
not.
wheel.
Bill Turner's done it in New Zealand. Notice I'm not stepping into it. However, Bill's done it this way and he's going through all the steps. But guess what I said? Crime, it's a crime scene. So to me now, deceit, because I swing it straight under deceit. And now, this is where no one's done this, deceit. Where does it take to? Deceit is fraud. Guess where that takes me? Back under a Crown Law instrument. I'm going straight back over there. I only need 2 things, sheriffs to administer the Crown Law instruments. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
All this gets dealt with, but guess what? This is the whole thing of why we need a political system, because the Senate is going to have to make the decisions. The people make the decisions. I can give them the knowledge, the education, the wisdom, But
Oh,
also,
well, sorry about that.
you're right. See, and this is where I was just saying.
Rent, we're saying rent.
Yeah, rent.
No,
No one should have been
People won't
renting.
need to.
Rent was created for the poor. Poor should never happen
Yeah.
because we had a beautiful person back in the age 1666 who said, I could do this. It's a brain, it was a scheme of a brainy person.
But
You
it's going to
buy-
collapse.
No, it won't collapse.
no.
No, this
All these
doesn't
people
collapse.
got all rental factories,
No, it won't collapse.
workers, all
It
that.
won't
They
collapse
sell it.
because guess what? Your personal home technically now is under King Charles, Prince Charles.
What, so?
Your business technically here is under Charlie.
Prince Charles.
He's not getting it.
He's not getting it.
Anything to do with deceit is fraud, and fraud comes under the Crimes Act. Guess what? Where are we going? We're going back to those two components. We don't need nothing else, sheriffs and the Crown Instruments, because we
We've got
are.
to pay rent here, though.
No, oh, only you rent this, do you? Oh, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. But however, what it is I'm
I happen
saying,
to do, I've got-
if you own your own home, you're not going to rent it. When Prince Charles said to you, you will own nothing and you will be happy.
Yeah, I know.
Class
He
four.
just told you he was taking his mortgage back, which is what those people said last night, and giving you a digital thing. I can write up this little thing that we're on here now and says, look, I love pizzas. It means jack shit. It's only a document I made there. What validity it has if it's not lawful? So everything we do swings back under the Crown Instruments and the sheriffs, who survived the demise of the Queen even, is the only lawful one, and it's a county sheriff. Common law is used sheriffs. They don't have the power and the knowledge that I've put to this to give you a framework so that we now have New Zealand who have the fullest confidence in my knowledge to give them the power, because they pull any stunts, they know my sheriffs can go and organise a court and organise a grand jury. That's the power of our sheriffs. Sheriff is a word, it's like I can say puddings and jelly. Look, jelly is a form of a dessert, let's get real. But it's not the same. A dessert can be many things, okay? Law enforcement can be many things. But I'm talking about specifically sheriffs on the Sheriff Act 1887. So that's what we've got. So virtually 21, everyone should have got their money and had a house, and there would have been no poverty. You know those people living down the street, some of them are millionaires,
Yes,
they live under bridges
they
because
are.
they can't cope with our system.
Yes,
They
that's
say,
correct.
stuff this, I want to get out of society.
And you'll also find Bill Turner, he
Yep.
and anyone else who used to, not saying that he did, used to tell people about these Certificate trusts and how to get through the steps to access it, all got visited by the men in black.
Oh, really?
Two men, they're bankers mafia. They sit in the back hall, and this happened to a woman in New Zealand, and she got visited by them, and she said, look, you're okay because you're not in our system anymore, but you're not to tell anyone else.
Oh, really?
Because if this,
And they're bank thugs.
and
because
this
you're
is where I
taking
switched the
their
video
money.
off, because this is now totally confidential.
Yeah.